subtle change in direction there from Ballyhoo with Don't Go Walking With My Heart, a nice one. And as mentioned earlier last week, Duran Duran.
Woman, you want me, give me a sign. Can't stop breathing, even closer behind. In touch with the ground, I'm on the...
Jolly good start to the interview that we promised last week with Duran Duran. We've got Simon Le Bon and Roger Taylor with us this evening.
Hi.
The other
Hi.
two Taylors don't seem to be here, nor is Mr. Rhodes.
No, they're still in England while we've been having a great time here in South Africa.
Ah. Okay, to get back to the music, or to dwell upon the music in terms of the videos that you get together, what I've always been impressed about as regards your music is the videos that you compile with the music. And it seems to be a new art form in Britain at the moment, or on the continent. What do you
It
have to
is.
say to
It's
that?
a completely new industry, art form, medium. And I think for us it's very important because if you want to be really successful, you have to have something new to identify yourself with. Like Pink Floyd, they associated themselves with stereo. I mean, they were the first real stereo band. We're going to be the first real video band. I mean, we spend lots of money on it. We spend lots of time and energy. I think we're the first band to go on location, actually, to places like Sri Lanka.
Which must have been wonderful. Some of the clippings that I have seen are
great.
most
Yeah,
articulate.
it's good fun.
As regards the film work and the other things. As regards the music, did you consciously try and create a different sound, or was it just the music that you were producing at that time that happened to be different?
We just sort of wrote the music to please ourselves more than anything. And it was just like coincidence again that everybody else seemed to like it. It just seemed to come along at the right time, really.
Your appeal seems to be at the younger listener in terms of the pop music spectrum. Do you think that they were initially attracted by your sense of style, your clothing, and the image that you set apart from others?
I think that had a lot to do with the initial success of the band. But of course, since then, we have been broadening our audiences, getting more sort of a wider range of people. You kind of get the little girls at the front who make a lot of noise and look very pretty, and that's why everybody notices them. And then further back, you get the 30, 40-year-old guy in a pair of jeans and just likes to listen to some good music.
As regards the future, I've been listening to some of your music of late. It seems as if the new music movement, or the new romantic, to coin a cliche, which I don't like using, or any of these hackneyed phrases, it seems to be moving back to the R&B roots, in a sense.
I agree.
There's much more bass slapping that you hear in other bands. That type of rhythmic feel is
it's got a lot more dance and orientated. Because when punk came in a few years ago, all the sort of dance rhythms were just sort of thrown out the window. And this was sort of like a reaction to that. And it was influenced by a lot of jazz funk that was happening a couple of years ago.
Which is nice, because perhaps that's where one's heart is as regards to music, in a sense, but you have to portray it commercially. One last question just before we go. A lot of British bands are making inroads on the American market, such as yourselves. Haircut 100, Flock of Seagulls, things like that. Do you think the American market is ripe for that at the moment?
I think they've been listening to the same old rubbish for far too long, and it's about time. I mean, they know it's about time for something new to come along, something new to listen to. They're bored, and there's going to be a big kind of explosion. As soon as the radio stations get interested, and one goes, it's going to be like a stack of dominoes all going brrrr.
Yeah, it's starting to happen already. Because the Human League got to #1 over there, which was probably the best #1 they've ever had. And Soft
Kim
Cell.
Wilde is also making noises.
So they're starting to change now.
Simon, Roger?
There's lots of money there too.
Oh yes, of course. There's an untapped market as far as that's concerned. Well, it is tapped, but I suppose British bands can even tap it better. Thanks very much for chatting to us.
Thank
and
you.
all the best with your
Thank you.
efforts. Goodbye. Well, there you are, Roger Taylor and Simon Le Bon of Duran Duran, who currently in South Africa, who have in fact just left the country, and we're here on a promotional visit, and we chatted to them here at Pop Shop. Okay, let's have some music in the form of the Rolling Stones live in concert, Going to a Go-Go. We're still the best rock and roll band in the world after all these years, Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. Two reasons, look at their recent crowds, and the second, if you can have a sideman like Ernie Watts on saxophone, you're not doing badly. Cheerio from us here at Pop Shop. Have a lovely weekend. Look after yourselves.
Tabletop
Mixed up veggies.
Just remember, Mama, tabletop is real food.
Crunchy, crunchy. Tasty, tasty.
Such a little time for a lot of taste.
So good.
Well, I get spots around my chin. I've tried lots of things and nothing seems to work for me.
So Lorna tried the Mitalac 5-day test. Mitalac works.
The second last race of the season, and we